Hello, hello, hello. How are you guys? Waiting for people to join us. Kill your volume, please. So, we're just going to sit here and kind of shuffle for a few minutes till we get more than just one or two people. Hello. Can't tell who's joined us, but thank you for joining our live. We're here to kind of do an introduction to my husband, Jonathan. A lot of you have heard about him before, whether from me or from Rich. So we figured we'd do a quick introduction. Also, we have the question and answers that we are going to be doing. I've had quite a few people ask me a few questions that they would like me to go over, from coworkers to my husband's coworkers to just different random people that I've come across when they find out that I do readings. So as soon as we get a few more people on, then we'll get into the question and answers. So, what about you, dear? You have your deck. And one thing that I've been asked previously is whether or not it's possible to read any deck that you put your hands on, or whether or not it is something that you really just have to use a singular deck all the time. Now, I have just a basic tarot deck. This one happens to be, let me grab this, my Pagan Tarot deck. I initially started out by reading the Arthurian tarot deck. I've read Rider-Waite. The Art Nouveau tarot is one of my favorites. You happen to have a different one, which is the Archangel Power Tarot. And this one I'm not really familiar with, but as you experienced the other day, I can read those. And that's a beautiful deck, I think. I love the artwork on it. Maybe show up a few cards for people to see. I know that reflection is kind of killing it.
Yep.
So, what is tarot? Tarot goes back to about the 1400s. Is when they really started noticing tarot and people really started using it. Cartomancy had been around for quite a while by then. Cartomancy is just a basic reading of your plain deck of playing cards. So with all of that, people decided to expand on that and to elaborate on that. And they've actually dated it back to, like I said, about the 1400s. It is believed that tarot originated in Italy, which is something that most people don't know. I actually thought that tarot originated in, like, with the gypsies in Romania and stuff like that.
Right.
And something else that I did not know before today, actually, because I did a little bit of research, is that tarot goes back so far that it has actually been tied to the Kabbalah. It has been tied to, hang on, I took some notes. Give me just a second. Oops, sorry. Tarot has been tied to Indian Tantra, the I Ching, and so on. So I thought that was kind of interesting because I really thought that maybe it originated with the Druids, or, hey, Jason, or, like I said, in Romania and with the gypsies. So there's that. So I've been asked what is the significance of the major arcana cards and the minor arcana cards. And that's something that you asked. You said that your coworker had asked. So this is a shout out to Tanner because he wanted to know that. And even my older brother asked. So the difference between major and minor arcana cards is that a major arcana card, such as the Lovers or the Hierophant, oops, I guess it would help if I hold it up so you could see, is major arcana cards tend to represent important life events. They tend to represent lessons. They tend to represent milestones and help from the unseen, people from the other side, whether it be spirit guides or people that you love who have passed over, or even your angels. Cards such as the wands and swords. I guess it would help if I held it up so you could see it better. Go back to your basic suits of cards. So they go back to being like your clubs and your hearts and your diamonds and your spades. With all of that, your minor arcana cards are also associated with the different elements. And the different elements that they are associated with is, sorry, I'm looking for my notes, guys. So pentacles are generally associated with money, but they're also an earth card. Your cups are emotions. Your wands are fire. And yep, sorry, had to double check my notes, guys. Sometimes when I'm on the spot, I miss it. Hi, Jackie. Thank you for joining us, sis. And as I was saying, your wands are your air signs. So those of you who are familiar with tarot would know that, but people who are new to it wouldn't know that. So I've been asked whether or not you have to be in a particular mood to read tarot cards. And the best thing I can tell you is that it helps if you are not completely drained when you try and read. You've seen the after effects of that one.
Yeah.
But it also helps if you aren't extremely pissed off.
Yeah. Because honestly, when you do that, you tend to cloud it with your own feelings and whatnot instead of actually just reading the cards.
Exactly.
You start mixing your own emotions in with what the cards are saying.
Absolutely. So one of the things that you and I were talking about when we were pulling cards for you the other day is the basics. How do you get into reading tarot? Most people like you have been drawn to it. You come across a deck in a bookstore or in a metaphysical shop, and the cards just kind of call to you. And it may or may not be one particular deck. It might just be the cards in general. For you, it was this deck. We bought this, 2-3 years ago in Salt Lake?
Something like that, yeah.
I think it was when we went down to Utah to drop Olivia off at the airport, and we went to that bookstore in Salt Lake with Rich. That's right. When you picked those up.
Yeah.
So, and you had never really been interested in the cards before.
Nope.
You just kind of let Rich and I do our thing when we were collaborating or we were reading or whatever, and you just never really showed any interest. So what drew you to those?
It's just I was walking around looking through the bookstore and I noticed them. And I didn't immediately just pick them up and decide that I wanted to buy them. I actually let it sit for a month and a half or something like that. And we went down there again. And that was when I decided to just listen to what was screaming at me, basically.
Yeah, because you kept going back. Every time we'd go into that bookstore, you were drawn back to that section. And you would pick those up and you'd look at them for a minute and then you'd put them back down and walk around and look at something else, as I remember.
Yep.
So, and yours are different than the average deck. Yours, instead of having regular suits like the wands, cups, and so on, have what?
Mine is actually refers to angels. 4 specific angels, as it is. They are Raphael, Gabriel, Ariel, and Michael.
So that's a completely different set of cards than most people would ever look at or even pick up. So when we draw cards, we've been known to do anything from a 3 or 4 card spread to a 10 card layout to more, as you've seen. And A lot of people, when they first get started in the cards, go by the little book that is included. Do you want to hand me yours? Since yours is more accessible than mine is at this point. Okay, so with most cards, you get a nifty little book, such as this one. Mine has one, and they usually aren't as big or as extensive as that one. And most tarot card decks will give you the basics. They will give you the book version of what each in particular card means. For somebody to do readings like what I do, which is intuitive, you go by the energy of the cards and you go by the feeling that you get or the images that flash through your head when you're reading. So, like this spread that we did for you the other day, we just did a simple, quick spread. It was a 3-card layout. It was past, present, and future. And I took one look at that spread and said, you need to hold off on making this big decision because it's not time yet. And that was kind of how you came to the answer on that particular situation and you followed through with it. What are some other questions that Tanner had that we didn't answer yet?
So a coworker of mine has a question that he asks, what do you have to do to be able to read tarot cards?
Honestly, reading tarot cards isn't something that is some magical thing that we're suddenly gifted with. It's really trusting in your intuition, and it's trusting your gut, and it is being able to pull those feelings while you are looking at a set of cards. For people just starting out, it tends to be easier when they have the person that they're reading for right in front of them or next to them, as a case may be, like when I posted the video with Ember earlier today. But once you get used to trusting your gut and trusting your instincts, then it becomes easier to read from afar. And that's actually just by trusting my instincts and trusting my gut, how I got into being able to read for an audience such as the one that we have now, but also just reading for people you don't know. You don't know anything about them. A lot of times, the person that you're reading for, you might just have a name. And more often than not, people don't give me the question that they're asking. Like when I read for Ember earlier today, she didn't tell me what her question was. And so it was just trusting those instincts. So that is the best thing that I can tell you. Hi, Amy. Thank you for joining us, sis. Are you going to say hi to Amy? You know Amy.
Yeah. Hi.
Yeah, I finally dragged him into going live with me. It took me a minute. We were supposed to have done this on Sunday, and somebody got a little bit of a nervous bug. So what's another question that Tanner has?
Yeah, he actually also wants to know, what information do you need to be able to do a reading, if any?
So honestly, we really don't need a whole lot of information other than if it's something that's like an audience. For this one, it would be, give me a situation or a question that you want read, so that way I can do a reading, because it's a little difficult to go cold with nothing. Although I've done that before in my last live. I went by the intuition of the audience and people that were commenting, and there were certain things that were coming through loud and clear, and so that's what started getting read. And we'll get to readings in a second, guys.
And then he also wants to know, how long does a reading usually take?
So that one is actually dependent upon a couple of things. Number one is the question of the situation that is being asked about and how detailed that reading gets. As a general rule, most readings take anywhere from 15 to 30 minutes. Some are a little bit shorter than that and come in at about 10 minutes, and some are a little bit longer and have been known to go 45 minutes to an hour. It really just depends on the situation and the people involved.
And then lastly, he wants to know what your favorite part is about doing readings.
Good question. And I actually have been thinking about that since you read me that list of questions the other day. I would say that my favorite part of doing readings is being able to help people. A lot of people already know the answers within themselves, but they need an outside source. They need that outside validation to proceed the way that they need to.
Yeah.
So to be able to help people when a lot of times those people don't feel like they have somebody close to them or in their inner circle that they can talk to about a situation, that's the part I like the best. So what
Well,
about you? Because you've been around it for a while since we've been together.
what do you mean, what about me?
Well, from an outsider's perspective, what is your favorite part? Because I don't read for you often.
No.
So, from an outsider's perspective and seeing other people get read, what's your favorite part?
Just having them confirm as to how accurate you actually are with the information that you've given them.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I really do. That is something that is actually appreciated. There's everybody who's commented at some point or another has said that I was dead on the money with whatever reading I did for him on whatever situation. So with that being said, I do know that there is somebody who is with us right now who could really use a reading about a specific situation that we were discussing with him yesterday, and who could really use some help from the cards. And they, unfortunately, due to life circumstances, are not able to be here with us tonight. So we're going to shuffle. And I'm actually going to give you the cards to shuffle here in just a second because you talked to them about as extensively as I did. I think you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
So they're going to benefit from having both of us shuffle. So while he's shuffling, for those of you who are new, maybe don't set it on the table, babe. From those of us who...
Well, it's either on the table or 50 or 78 card pickup. Take your pick.
Yeah, well, maybe you should like, because this is going to shake the table. So back to what I was saying. For those of you who are new, you always have the ability to change the course of events by thought, word, or deed. And when the cards are being read, what is being read is the energy surrounding that particular reading. Is it done?
Yeah.
And it is also anything that is coming through from guides or angels. And so we just read it according to the way we see things panning out, according to what's been asked. Hi, Ricky. Thank you, sis. I didn't get a chance to message you guys before I went live. So thank you for hopping on, guys. One of my other mods just joined me. So you always have that ability and that control to change things as they happen. And when we read, at least for me, I always flip the cards from side to side, because when we read the cards and we flip them end for end, then we're not reading them as they are laying with the deck. So I usually do a 10 card layout when I do a reading. If I'm flipping through fast, I will usually do a 3 card spread, past, present, future, and that's what we'll do in this situation. And we go from there. So for the person who is, I'm sure, anxiously awaiting their reading at this point, and I'm going to take off my glasses so you guys aren't looking at the reflection of my eyeballs. We'll go ahead and we will go past, present, and future. So card number 1 is the Hierophant, right side up. Trying to hold that at such an angle that you're not getting such a bad glare. Card number 2 is the Novice of Chalices reversed. This really is beautiful artwork. And if you like, we can do a 3 card spread with your deck as well. Card number 3 is the Four of Pentacles. Right side up. So, and thank you. Okay. What is your interpretation of past, present, and future in those 3 cards? And you can hold them up as you read them. That's fine.
Honestly, I'm not sure because I'm not familiar with your decks. So With me just starting out, I'm not as comfortable with her deck as I am with mine because I've handled and looked through mine a lot more than I have hers.
So are you going to defer to me on this one?
Of course.
That's fine. Okay, so the first card, hold it a little closer, please, so that way people can see a little better, is the Hierophant, and that is right side up. That is a major arcana card, and as we talked about earlier, major arcana refers to major life events, and it refers to lessons and spiritual guidance, things like that. So in this particular situation, there have been certain events in the past that have led up to where you are sitting emotionally right now and sitting with that entire situation. Um, and this is something that you are very, very emotionally tied to. And that would show in the deck, even if we hadn't both talked to you yesterday about this. This is a situation that has been brewing for a minute. It is something that has been kind of bubbling under the surface for a little while. I think you maybe felt that, which is why you were trying to kind of head it off at the pass with some of the stuff that you've been trying to accomplish for the last month or 6 weeks. However, your presence, which is this card, and I believe that is, the Novice of Chalices reversed, shows how much this is affecting you emotionally. And honestly, thank you, Ricky. With the Novice of Cups reversed, that shows that defeat. That shows the giving up. That shows the just downward spiral that you're kind of just trying to navigate at this point. I can tell you with the Four of Pentacles right side up, let me hold that one a little bit closer. And I think you already know this, your finances are going to change. Things are going to be a little bit tight for a while. A lot of that has to do with some of those choices that you are having to make as far as home life, work life, and interpersonal relationships. There is a lot of difficult choices that are having to be made right now. And you do need to know that while you feel alone, every one of these cards says you feel alone. Every last one of those says that you don't feel like you are part of a larger group, like you are part of a circle of people, or even part of a team for that matter. So there's a whole lot of, what's the word I'm looking for? I'm trying to think, guys. It's been a long day. Taking it personally, for lack of a better term, because honestly, I am drawing a blank as to what the word is that I'm looking for. But you are really holding this one close and doing a lot of blaming yourself, and it's not necessary. I don't feel. I feel like there is a lot of other stuff at play that you aren't seeing or even acknowledging at this point because you're so stressed out and so upset that you haven't given yourself a chance to breathe, let alone focus on anything beyond the current. And if top or bottom, this one or this one,
I don't know.
call it. Your daughter's saying bottom, which is the Eight of Wands right side up. If you look at that card, and I'm trying to hold it at such an angle you're not getting such a bad glare, you'll be fine. Ultimately, things will be okay. They may not play out in the way that you had planned or even how you thought they might, but you will be okay. Your finances are going to even out. You will get those bills that are stacking up and that you're afraid are going to continue to stack up paid off or paid down enough that you'll be able to have a little bit more breathing room. And I feel like there is some outside help coming your direction. If they aren't already headed your way, then or you haven't already acknowledged it, then it will be headed your way here pretty soon. And I am going to, okay, Liv, top or bottom? You guys can't see her. She's off camera, but my daughter, who is also my page mod, is sitting off camera and modding for me. So, top or bottom? You want the top one? Okay. So we'll read the top. Amy says hi. She's in the comments. You can respond. Ace of Swords reverse. There is some movement that you do not like and that you are not looking forward to. I don't necessarily think that you are going to move houses per se, at least not yet. I think, hi, Sir Page. I think that it will be more of probably a job jump for you. So, do you want to do past, present, and future for you? I'm kind of clearing this deck. Go ahead and do past, present, and future for that particular person. And I did tell them that I wouldn't say their name on the live out of respect for their privacy. But I did tell them that we would do their reading during this live tonight. So, although I don't think this particular person was anticipating getting read by both of us. I don't know if you guys can hear her, but my daughter is off screen and laughing. She thinks that's rather entertaining, apparently. So, some of you guys have wanted to know if anybody can do it. He's never read for anybody else. And especially not the person that we're doing this for. So, go ahead. I'm right here with you. Go ahead. You got it. Don't give me that look. You got it. You'll be all right.
So, our first card is going to be the Four of Michael.
Sir Page says, don't be shy.
Yeah.
Amy says, you got this.
I see.
Thanks, guys. We like the support.
Interesting.
Jason says, you got it, brother.
Now we're running the Five of Michael. And then Major Arcana, our Peace card in the spot of Future.
Let me slide those down for you. Okay, so without pulling out the book, what do your instincts say?
So, Four of Michael.
Here, maybe hold it a little closer.
For your past is...
You can read it and then...
Right. So my cards are a little bit different. They actually come with a little bit of a description for the card on the bottom. So until I get a little bit more comfortable using them, I'm going to kind of defer to that a little bit and maybe expand on it if I can see something that goes with it. So this one says, insights that come from quiet meditation, the need for more sleep or time off, seek relief from stress.
That's perfect for that person. Go on.
Definitely is for that. So yeah, definitely. Because of this card says that you need to take some time off and de-stress from all the past crap.
In other words, fill your own cup.
Yeah. Empty it and
refill. It's already empty. He just needs to refill.
Well, depending on how you want to look at it, yes.
We have a dog under the table, so if it jolts, that's why, guys.
So your present.
Liv, call your dogs, please. Sorry, guys. We have doggos that are trying to join.
Yep. So your present card is the Five of Michael. And it says, this situation doesn't serve you. Release your attachment to the outcome. Consider taking a more uplifting approach.
Okay.
Kind of right on the money for what we were suggesting the other day. So, yes, definitely don't let it weigh you down. And go with the flow for the time being.
I would say that's pretty apt, yes.
Instead of trying to fight it, Just do what you got to do to survive. And back to Major Arcana. Peace. And it says, release the past. There is more enriching future coming. Let go and let God.
Which is pretty apt for that particular person, I think.
Yep, definitely.
Okay, so what do your instincts say regarding those cards?
My instincts?
I understand you're on the spot and you're nervous, but they're all giving you support.
We got this, Dad.
Yeah.
Thank you, sis. Thank you, Sir Paige. And yes, guys, if you're on and you're watching, we could certainly use the like button. Go ahead and hit that thumbs up. And if you're new and you haven't already, please do subscribe. It helps me. It helps my husband, helps my family.
Yeah. Basically, my instincts from each card and just looking at them, definitely take time to meditate and think about the past, but
don't live there.
Don't get stuck there.
You guys can't see him off camera, but we've got a doggo literally right underneath us.
And then your present card, Five of Michael.
Scout.
Your Five of Michaels. Definitely, it doesn't. The situation, don't let it control you. Change the outcome that will better benefit you. And definitely let peace reign.
Which is easier said than done when you're in the middle of a snowstorm.
Well, yeah, and it's definitely much easier. But with the combination of the Four of Michaels, your Five of Michael, and your Major Arcana Peace card, it's all basically telling you the same thing. The way I see it. Think about it, but don't dawn on it. Let it go. Let it be. And just don't let it interrupt your future.
Honestly, I look at this card and you've got, can you see that? Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to hold it in such a manner that the glare isn't horrible on it. But you have got a lot of spiritual help. And I think that a big part of that is to learn to trust your instincts and to rely on that spiritual guidance that you're getting. And I know that you hear them. It's whether or not you actually choose to listen and acknowledge it, to be honest with you. Because a lot of this right now says that you are worried about some legal stuff. You're worried about legalities on a few things and whatnot. And you are super stressed out to the point where you are losing sleep. You aren't focusing on the stuff that you can control. You're focusing more on the stuff that you can't control. And that is where you move into the Five of Michael, which is saying that you're past that. You are better than to let the situation control you and not take control of the situation. You always have certain things within your control. Even if you were to say, end up in a situation where you suddenly find yourself locked up, you have a choice as to how you're going to react to that, whether or not you are going to maintain hope or whether or not you are going to feel just desolate and sad and depressed, and whether or not you're going to let the system overtake everything. And I think this final card is in an apt position simply because that particular card tells you that you do have a lot of spiritual help. You do have people who have passed over who are watching out for you. In particular, that card represents your mom. But you also have your spirit guides, and you also have angels. And in this particular situation, you also have your higher power that I feel like you have been maybe straying a little bit away from, and you need to go back to. So go ahead. I'm just giving my assertion as to what those cards say.
You're good. You're better at it than I am.
I'm more experienced.
And
not
I was
better.
just going to say, you've got a lot more practice and experience with them than I do.
Yeah, I've been reading since I was probably 13 years old. I kind of have had a lot of time to develop that experience.
Yeah.
So do one more because there's another card that wants to come out. I can feel it. And then there's somebody else who's watching who has a rather emotional situation that they're a little nervous to ask to be read. And I think we'll do that reading with your deck.
Okay.
So he is pulling cards differently than what I typically would. He, instead of just flipping them from the top of the deck, he is actually kind of just feeling the cards and feeling which ones feel like they need to pull to him. So it's a different way to pull a spread. Certainly okay. It's just different than a lot of readers would do it.
Okay. Nine of Michael. Basically is saying your worry is unnecessary. Focus your thoughts on the outcome you desire and release all feelings that are anything close to worry, regret, any of that, and give it back to where it came from.
So in other words, kind of send it back. For those of you who aren't maybe of a Christian background, it would be just turn around and send it back to where it's coming from.
Right. Major Arcana.
Which is which card?
The World.
Okay.
And it basically says everything's going to come right back to you for a happy ending.
It goes full circle.
Yep. And then your third card is the Knight of Ariel. And it's basically saying there's lots of room for growth in the future. You just need to make an organized plan to accomplish said objective.
What's up, sis?
I was gonna offer my input if that's okay.
Okay, so speak loud enough that the people who are watching can hear you.
So, listening to what my dad has given out, I think another way to put it would be that there needs to be a dedicated plan of action and effort put into getting better and being better for it to turn
Hang on.
out.
Can you guys hear her? Somebody type in the comments whether or not you can hear her, please. Because she is a little soft-spoken. I don't want you to get through speaking and then realize that nobody could hear what you had to say. Make sense?
Yeah, Jackie can hear me.
Okay. Thank you, Jackie. Thanks, Paige. Thanks, Aim. So a little louder, sis. Amy says you're a little quiet.
Okay. So, what I see, and going off of what my dad has said, there needs to be a dedicated effort
Thanks, Paige.
to a plan of action for things to get better as a whole. So,
Is that this card?
it's all of them, honestly. I think the world should be where the Knight of Ariel is.
I disagree, but why do you think that the Knight of Ariel and the world need to be switched?
Because of that plan of action that I think needs to be there. So that way in the future, it does come full circle and everything is as it needs to be.
Okay, that makes sense. So the general thing that she's saying is that in order for things to go full circle and come back to you in a positive way, she feels like you need to have that dedicated plan of action, which I agree with. I also see the Knight of Ariel as a hope card. So this to me is like the moving past the last spread that we just did. So you have the feeling of being defeated, and you have the depression and the
Worry.
and the anxiety and all of those things that surround that. And we're moving past that. I do see this card as very much being a hope card and being a card of forward progression and forward movement. And I believe that in this particular spread and with this particular deck, you're correct insofar as that this will move full circle and that you will come out on top, just perhaps not in the manner in which you had thought you would. So you kind of got a random reading from all three of us, which never has happened before. So thank you, Liv, and thank you, Jonathan. So there's somebody who I feel is watching right now, at least somebody who is having some questions and feeling some heartache and feeling some anxiety and worry. And you can pull your deck too. I really feel like this person is struggling with starting a family and with maybe there has been some issues with either getting pregnant or keeping a pregnancy or maybe having trouble with IVF, or there's something surrounding that starting of a family or expansion of a family. And so I'll shuffle, you shuffle, we'll focus on that. Liv, you can kind of kibitz in. Just remember to speak loudly and clearly so people can hear you.
Oh, I was going to ask if I could get one of my decks and contribute.
So we'll go live this weekend.
Okay.
And we'll sit down and we will do the three of us, where we each have a separate deck, and we will do readings and we can do them in tandem. So do you guys think that that would be a good idea? If you do, please drop some comments if you'd like to see the three of us go live this weekend. And you'll have somebody who is experienced in doing the readings and intuitive readings. You'll have a very, very newcomer, and then my daughter who has a little bit more experience than her dad, but not by much.
Shit happens.
Okay, so Jackie H would like to see us. Paige says that'd be fun. Jason says that'd be awesome. So we will discuss a date and time. Thanks, Amy. And we will I'll post, not we. I will post a short little video to let you guys know when we're all going to go live together. And so that way you guys can plan on joining with us. And that's an interesting card for that.
Okay.
And we can go with that. Yep, there's that anxiety.
There's magic in the air tonight.
Interesting. Okay.
What was that for?
So this particular person, I'm going to pull 5 cards for. And Jonathan is pulling his cards, again, differently than how I pull my cards.
Yeah, because mine are a little bit more complicated to shuffle, so the cards don't always end up right on the top. I mean, because if you look at the size of the card differences, bigger ones are harder to shuffle.
Okay, these are slightly larger than your typical tarot deck. His are significantly bigger.
Lap them the other way, honey.
I will. You look at them. So if I were to put it corner to corner, his cards are significantly different than mine are. Alrighty. So for this particular person, and I'm not quite sure who it is, but I can definitely feel like, yeah, I was right. There is a lot of worry and a lot of anxiety about, in fact, these 3 cards right here. This is a family card. This is a card that says that while normally this person is happy and content with their life and with their family and whatnot, this is the exact opposite of that. This person, which is a six of cards or six of chalices reversed, is in a kind of just a funk. They feel very sad. They feel very anxious about starting their family and whatnot. They're possibly starting to consider outside forms of being able to start their family and to enhance their family experience. That's interesting. Okay. He'll read his in a minute. And so they're starting to consider costs. And right now, those costs, if you were to look at IVF or continuing IVF or whatever, or even having a surrogate, I feel like that would be very, very expensive and not necessarily within what you were able to accomplish right now. I do feel like there are other questions on finances that maybe aren't family related. You're trying to catch up with your finances. I feel like maybe you've gotten a little bit behind and like you are working to play catch up. That would be these two cards, which is the Novice of Pentacles and the Initiate of Pentacles, respectively. And they are both reversed. So I feel like maybe you need to be focused a little bit more on that right now than on the other. And the reason why I say that is because the expansion of the family, whether it be via surrogacy or IVF or naturally, which is what I think is going to happen, will happen, but it will happen in its own time. And the reason why I say that is because of the last two cards, which are the stars and the moon. And for you guys, it would be in this order. And they were both right side up. Now remember, major arcana is lessons, it is spiritual help, and there are other things that are a little bit more at play. These are life events, and the life events versus your day-to-day stuff, which would be your suit cards, your wands, your pentacles, your swords, and your cups. This is bigger stuff, but this needs to happen in its own time. Both the moon and the stars say, don't quit hoping. Don't quit putting the energy out there. You are bringing it to you. You are manifesting what you were hoping for. You just have to have faith that it will happen and know that it will happen in its own time. Okay. So you've gotten my reading, Jonathan.
And so the way I did it was I focused on pulling cards for after hers and the situations that hers read for.
Okay, now did you look at the cards that you were pulling, or were you only looking at the back sides like this side? Because I wasn't paying attention.
Oh, I only looked at the back sides first. I draw face down. I just have to, because mine don't allow me to properly shuffle like a normal deck of cards because of how big they are. I've actually got to hunt the card out from the backside.
So you're searching for the energy.
Yes. So it's still random draw. I'm not trying to pick specific cards because that's not tarot reading. That's somebody trying to appease you by finding a card that matches what you want to hear.
Okay, I would agree with that.
So yeah, that is definitely not tarot reading. That's just somebody spoon feeding you what you want to hear,
which is not worth it.
Right.
Pause for a second. If you guys are new to watching, please hit the like button and hit subscribe if you haven't already. Go ahead.
So, first card we popped up with, Major Arcana, the Magician. This is basically saying, manifest the life you want. You can make it happen. You've just got to have a successful beginning to get there.
Okay, so define successful beginning.
You've got to be to the point where,
like, healthy?
Nothing's going to get in the way of accomplishing what it is that you're after.
Okay, so put blinders on moving towards that goal.
Right.
Okay.
Basically, you can manifest it. You've just got to be able to manifest it by not letting anything else interfere, and you've got to be focused on it, I guess would be the way it comes. I see it. Next card we drew was the 9 of Raphael. There we go.
Trying
And
to hold it so there was no glare.
Yep.
I thought so.
And it's basically same thing. Make a wish, dreams will come true. It goes right along with the first card where you manifest the life you want. And our last card, another major arcana, the Sun, again. And basically, life is wonderful. Focus on it. Keep trying to inspire the success within yourself to accomplish what it is you're after.
So a basic rule of manifestation is to try and be as excited about the process as you would about the end result.
But you've also got to remember blinders from outside interruption to stay successful.
And from the hiccups along the way.
Yep.
Because when you are seeking a goal, whether it be financial success or starting a family, or those are the two most common, but really any goal, there's going to be hiccups along the way. There just will. And you've got to be able to get past those hiccups and not just focus on the bumps in the road.
Right.
Did you want to give your 2 cents worth? You're kind of inching closer to look at the cards.
Oh, I can see them from here. I'm just...
Speak loudly and clearly, sis, please.
The way I see it is kind of like how you and Dad presented it, but I guess slightly different wording. I was thinking of it as the law of attraction, like in The Secret, if any of our viewers have seen that or read the book. And it's essentially like, feel it, know what's going to happen, present it as it has happened or it is happening, and have faith. Just let it go and it'll come to you.
And let the universe bring to you what you were putting out. Okay. Yeah. So do you feel like you need to draw any other cards for this one, or you think that that's pretty much it?
I think the cards hit the nail on the head the first time around.
Yeah, I would agree with that. So, guys, with that being said, and the fact that it's been a hellaciously long week for me and for Jonathan, I know, we are going to go ahead and end this. Do you watch for the short? Because I will announce at what point in time on Saturday that we are going to go live, and it will be myself, Jonathan, and Olivia has decided she wants to go live with us, and we will each have our own decks. So be prepared with it, whatever questions or situations you'd like read. We'll see if we can get to a few of them. I will post the details, or my daughter will, or one of my other page mods will, for ordering personal readings if that is something that you are into or you are wanting done. And it'll be pinned to this live. So you guys have a good night. Love and light to you.